Podcast with Halsey. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello, welcome everybody. You're now listening to a new episode of the Narrative Podcast, and I'm your host, Halsey. Welcome all my narrators. How is everybody doing this weekend? I would assume great, and if not, hey, it's still time. So, I broadcast regularly every single weekend to bring you a new episode of the Narrative Podcast. I already welcomed in my narrators. Allow me to also just, say hello to anybody that's not familiar with my platform, just newly tuning in. Hello to you too. And I'll just give you a brief overview of my content and just walk you through what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish in this space, and dive into the content. So first of all, let's start with the name, the Narrative Podcast. I decided to do this podcast because I feel the media reads a false narrative about original people and original culture. They're always depicting us in a negative light. They're always showing us from warped, skewed perspectives, and it seems like they're incentivizing, foolishness and buffoonery and, perpetuating and generating negative stereotypes and creating negative nuances within our culture and just pushing all that up to the forefront. Meanwhile, the way we really are, how we really live, is not getting any shine or spotlight or any, coverage of how we really live, as opposed to how they portray us that we live. So I want to create a platform where I'm highlighting and showcasing us at our best instead of, showing us at our worst and playing into the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture. Just a disclaimer, today is my queen's born day. She passed away in 2017, so if I take little long pauses throughout, this recording, I'm just trying to get myself together and, produce the content. But just wanted to throw that out there if I seem to be like trailing off. But anyway, as I was saying, about my podcast content, I want to just basically play up our strengths and, showcase us how we really are as a people, everything we bring to the table, just basically to dispel all these negative stereotypes about us and celebrate our accomplishments and empower and edify us on my platform. So that's the narrative that I'm trying to bring to you on the Narrative Podcast. Basically, I'm just providing positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. My ultimate goal that I want listeners to get, if they don't get anything else from my content, is how important it is to share positive content on your platforms, on your digital platforms, whatever you have, a Facebook, a Twitter, or whatever you're active on, to always, upload positive content about your people and your culture. Because people outside of our culture, the only thing they know about us is, the frames of reference that they're given to them about us. And all the frames of reference that they have about us are negative ones. So it's up to all of us to, upload positive content. And that's why I call my target, or my mainstays on my platform, my narrators, because we're all content creators to some capacity, but we all can tell or narrate our own stories by controlling the content that we post online. Because the content we post online these days pretty much is a representation of you. You're associated with, your values, your morals, your faith, and everything else that makes an individual. People equate that to, the type of content that you post online. Like some employers even go to your social media accounts when you apply for a job to see what you're posting online before they hire you. Now, even if you got it set to private, they can still do it with like some software. But anyway, more to the point, just how we look as a people to people outside of our culture. Just imagine, we're always posting gang culture, gun culture, thought culture, drug culture, pimp culture, whore culture, like all these negative nuances and stereotypes within our culture we're posting online and perpetuating and generating and feeding into these negative stereotypes that they say about us. So, it's important for us to always be posting positive content. And that's the ultimate takeaway I want listeners to gain from the information that I'm sharing on my platform. Now, I noticed you noticed that I was saying original a lot. And the reason why I say original a lot, because I feel like referring to our people as original people versus black people is a more accurate depiction of us. And it's not that I'm ashamed of being black or, ever second guessed my blackness. It's just that I think I've awoken and gained some more insight and knowledge about our people. Particularly, I've been studying, the effect and impact of words, how they're used, the etymology of words, and how words can change and alter reality. So in my findings, I go to the dictionary, and then I notice how the word black is being used to describe us. When you go into any dictionary or thesaurus and look up the word black, you will see a whole lot of negative connotations surrounding the word black. It'll start usually off, when you look at the dictionary, it'll say like, original people, original Aboriginal people descending from Africa, originating from or descending in Africa or whatever. And then it'll have all these like different, negative nouns, pronouns. and parts of English speech using black, the word black in a negative way, such as like, either say black, like dirty, black desolate, black depressed. And then some versions even say black not of God. You know what I mean? So it's just like the way the English language is set up is basically like psychological warfare at its best. And they weaponize the English language against us. They flip the narrative on us because in our native tongue, in our native lands, in many, dialects of the languages that we spoke in, the homeland, black meant something positive. It meant something, powerful. But how they come across in the English language, how they flipped it, the dynamic of the word black, they associate it with death and, pestilence and suffering and darkness and, depravity. It didn't originally mean that. And they know it didn't originally mean it, but, that's what they do. That's the architects of these colonizers, their mindset. They want to rewrite and rearrange history. So our history did not, originally, it didn't start off with that. Definition of the word. Now, when you go to the same dictionary, that same written source, and look up the word original, there's nothing, negative surrounding the word original. Original hints at the first, and original often in many cases means the best. Now, I'm not saying we're superior to anyone, but we definitely, actually, factually was and are the first. We came first. We existed, thousands of years before anything on this planet was. We were. We originated so many things that we use every single day. We invented almost every modern day convenience you can think of. All started with us. We originated, the written and spoken language. We originated mathematics. We originated science. We originated, philosophy. We originated architecture. We originated, building. We built things, we just constructed civilization. We were already on the planet, standing fully erect, fully sentient. We weren't, sloping over. We wasn't covered in excessive body hair. We didn't have, a cranial overbite. We were perfect. Like, we taught civilizations how to survive. We were original. We were the original blueprint of man and woman. So, I think describing us or referring it to us as original as opposed to black is a more, accurate depiction of who we are. And not that there's anything wrong with saying black. Calling yourself black. As a matter of fact, I write poetry, and I wrote a poem titled "My Blackness." So, I'm not ashamed of being black. I don't have anything really like super against black, and I know like a lot of organizations say don't call yourself black, you're not black, and with my philosophy, it's not nothing about that. It's just like I just believe in accuracy, and I think it's more accurate to refer to us as original as opposed to black. So on my platform, I try to insert the word original in reference to our people and our culture as often as possible. So it's like, not that I don't believe it's just saying the word black in reference to it's just all wrong, but I just think saying original is a more accurate depiction of this. All right. So having got that out of the way, before I dive into the content, I want to make a couple more disclaimers. As I'm recording, my platform is monetized. So that means ads, you're going to hear ads during my broadcast. I don't know when they're going to insert the ads. It often happens in mid-speech. I don't know until after I share it back online. But just stick around to the end and you will be rewarded with some information and, some good content. So don't, just tune off when you hear an advertisement. But, yeah. Also, my platform is time sensitive. I try to keep all my broadcasts under an hour. I try not to exceed 1 hour in my broadcast. When I first started podcasting, I just hit the button and just start talking and talking and talking. I would just go. No clear, vision of what I wanted, where I wanted to go, no clear message, what I wanted to talk about. And then I took a step back, said, let's fix this. So what do I actually want to do? What kind of content do I want to create? I want to help, uplift and edify my people. So what's the quickest way to do that? We got to be efficient about it. We got to be smart about it. We got to be efficient about it. So I decided to just, cut straight to the meat, break down my content into sections, and then I gave each section a speaking point. And to no avail, that made my content more cohesive. It gave it a nicer feel and gave it more fluidity. And, more people are tuning in and I'm becoming the whole thing. And so, yeah, just basically I want to keep it moving, get right to the point, get right to the meat. I don't want to drone on and on and on and talk in circles. I just want to hit all my bulleted points so that my content will resonate with the listeners and, just to be more clear and concise and ultimately just be, more digestible. You can actually just access the knowledge and refer to it at your own leisure. I'm not just talking and talking and talking because I'm not at that point yet. When I get to that point, I will have, deeper, longer broadcasts. But I'm just starting out. So, I want to hit my marks and just, mentally resonate with you. Because there are some people out there you can just listen to talk all day because they're coming with, valuable information and valuable knowledge, and you don't want to miss a second of their gems and wisdom, especially in our conscious community. But I'm kind of not there yet, but I'm getting there. But until I get there, I'm just going to be really concise, really clear, and, just really fluid. But I think you get the gist of what my podcast is about now and the direction I'm going, or my overall takeaway I want you to get. So I'm going to dive right on into the content. Starting with my first section. I've added this section for this month to commemorate, our holiday, to celebrate our people. But every day is a celebration of our people on my platform. But this month especially, it's Black History Month. And so I'm starting off with some Black History flags. So I got one positive Black History fact and then I got a one not so positive Black History fact. And I've started the not so positive ones, the lesser known Black History facts, because I don't want, the same old cliche ones every single year. Like the stop traffic light and Madam C.J. Walker and Harriet Tubman's Sojourner Truth and Crispus Attucks and all those guys, you know what I mean? Just people you just should know by now. So I try to go for the lesser known ones. I'm really trying to, for my positive ones, I'm trying to stay focused on technology and invention and technology because we are such a key force of technological advancements here in America and all over the world. So I want to really try to dive into that. But for my tragic ones, I want to try to give you, one from each time period. Now I've been going real hard in the slave times, but I don't want like my non-original people listeners like, why are you harping on slavery? Slavery was like 100 and some years ago, and get over it, da da da. When we literally can go in one time period after another where we were being violated as a people. And so that's what I'm going to do because, you can't have the good with the bad. It's the bad that propels us to make us want to be good. And then also, we can never ever let you glaze over that part in history. You want to take full accountability for that. You want to just glaze over that and just act like it didn't happen. So we got to always remind them about that. Those little instances and flare-ups, of the inequality that we've suffered at their hands. And it's not like a pity party or nothing like that. That's a part of our history too. So it's Black History Month, so you got to take the bad with the good. So having said that, on to my first Black History fact. First Black History fact, did you know who invented the helicopter or who revolutionized the invention of the helicopter? No? All right. So the man responsible for refining the invention of the helicopter was one Mr. Paul E. Williams, and he's regarded as the person that made the first ever fully functional helicopter. Like that's what they refer to him in history as, because all the previous helicopter designs before he got a hold of it were just bulky and lumbering and not really good for anything. Now, the very first one was created by a Frenchman by the name of Paul Cornu. And that was like a bicycle contraption, like you would see in the animated cartoons sometimes, and you would like pedal, and then it would just create the lift. And I think that person created their design off of what is his name, Leonardo, the Renaissance guy, off of his blueprint. I wanted to say DiCaprio, but what is his name? Let me just punch it up right quick. I'm just drawing a blank. So I already told you at the beginning where my mind's at. What is it? Renaissance inventor. Leonardo da Vinci. I was just drawing a blank. That's what he drew inspiration off the very first one who invented the helicopter originally, and it didn't work too good. But back to Paul Williams, you know, his version of the helicopter. He invented it in November in 1962, and his model was the 186 XH-51. Now, before that, the military had invented one in 1942 that was supposed to be like a really sophisticated one, and it still didn't really do the job. But it wasn't until Paul E. Williams invented one, and then every helicopter that came after that was invented, based on his design. All right, so we're going to give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Mr. Paul E. Williams and the revamped better formatted version of an existing invention, the helicopter. All right, now brace yourself. Here's my kind of tragic Black history fact. So about like 50 something years ago, in this month, on February 8th, 1968, commemorates the Orangeburg Massacre in Orangeburg, South Carolina. So if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to just walk you through it. So basically, how it started was there was this bowling alley. And this was at the time of segregation. More and more, it was right in the pocket of desegregation. So a lot of more things were starting to desegregate and allow, Black people to patronize. But this one particular establishment, a bowling alley, did not want them to, on the property, wouldn't sell them tickets. They didn't want, they wasn't feeling that desegregation. And so, Black people, students of that time in that era, they was just doing boycott type deals, like where we're not going to disperse until you start, patronizing us. So they would go out like every day with these picket signs, picketing the bowling alley. Well, it came to a head one day when it was so many protesters standing out in front of the establishment. They had it surrounded from like all sides. You couldn't get in, couldn't get out. They were so jam-packed tight that like the windows of the establishment had got broken. One of them got cracked, got broken. The owner of the establishment called the police, and the police came and dispersed the crowd, and the racial tension had got so bad in South Carolina, it sent the whole city kind of into like a martial law type situation. So now, I'm trying to move the story along because it was real, it's a whole lot to digest, but I'm just giving you the streamlined version of it on my podcast because, again, I'm trying to stay true to my time limit, but I'm trying to speed it up and get to where the massacre part happened. So now the town's in like martial law. They're shutting down stuff. They're enforcing a curfew. Sound familiar? Isn't that funny how history repeats itself? Like, didn't we just go through that with the George Floyd? So that was their generation's George Floyd incident, basically. I mean, they're like the quarantine thing, like, so they was going through the curfew. They was going through like martial law. They was shutting down institutions like college. They're paying to go to college. Now they're kicking the black students out of the college. So now they're kind of like outside. Half of them are in, half of them are out, and they're having like a bonfire. So police had got called. So the administrators had called the police to disperse them to basically kick them off the college campus. So like they got scared to see that many black people in that closed space, and it was said, like one of them said, a projectile. They seen or heard a projectile. So lying already, talking about seeing or heard a projectile. So like, which one was it? Did you see it or did you hear it? So at some point, the officers thought a projectile was projected at them, whether they saw it or whether they heard it. And it doesn't say. To this day, they don't know, what kind of projectile was. They saying a missile. Where you gonna get a missile, bruh? Where you gonna get a missile in South Carolina? Who got access to missiles? So I'm wondering if they're talking about fireworks. But anyway, so a report of a projectile being launched, and essentially they opened fire in the crowd, just started shooting people. Not no hoses, not no mace, nothing. They just like literally opened fire in the crowd, just started shooting people. 6 were dead, 3 were injured. But they had every intent to kill. It's something that doesn't get discussed regularly in our culture. Like, I can't recall when I was in school ever hearing about the Orangeburg massacre. This is this type of stuff that they sweep under the rug, that they don't really want to discuss these little points in history. And so we have to make that knowledge, known, so it never goes by the wayside. So it never has opportunity to repeat itself, but it kind of did repeat itself, even though nobody discusses it. But so my lesson on Black History fact for today is the Orangeburg massacre. You can look that up and do your own due diligence on that. Happened in South Carolina, and it's not hundreds of years old. This is only like a little over 50 years. So very relevant. So, if you got a grandma or grandpa that's like 60 years, over 60, 70, that was in their era. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like hundreds of years old. This is a part of American culture. This is something our people suffered, a tragedy our people suffered. And I can go on all of us can go on every single time frame from slavery all the way up until now where we wasn't, getting treated right. But that's that for my Black History Facts for this week on the Narrator Podcast. And now I'm going to dive straight into the content. So first up, my first section is called the promo section. And in this section, what I'm doing is I'm inviting original people to own or operate their own establishment or have a product or service that they need or would like promoted to, reach out and hit me up. And I promote it for 110% free on my platform, the Narrator Podcast. All publicity is good publicity. So, I do have a following. So you have nothing to lose by reaching out to me. Hit me up if you need or would like some free promotion at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo. Body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, business, product, or service, and I promote it 110% for free on my platform for you, for the cause. And the reason why I'm doing that is to help do my part to circulate the original people dollar in the original people community by promoting your business, product, or service, thus helping your, business expand. And so, to give, your business a better opportunity to, do for the community, such as hire your own, take care of anybody less fortunate or disenfranchised in the community with your product, goods, and services. Now, next is my contest section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm promoting a contest exclusively designed for my podcast. It's basically incentive to incentivize, people that's been listening to continue to listen, to continue to tell people about my platform, and to attract new listeners with the, anticipation to win something. And so the current prize that I'm giving away is a bulk supply of your favorite snack, hence the title, Chew on This Contest. And to enter, all you do, I'm using the exact same email address that I did for the promotional section. The way I'm separating them is through the subject bars. So you would email me at the exact same email address that I just gave out for the business promotion. But except, for the contest, you'll hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type chew on this / or dash shopping while black. And if you don't want to type the entire word shopping while black, just type SWB in all caps and you're all good. In the body of the email, be sure to include your mailing address so I know where to send your snack. Your most recent shopping while black experience. And then what type of snack you want. Like, tell me what type of snack you want. And it's not going to just be a single serving. It's a bulk supply. So, it's that get right pack. And again, the contest entry is free. I'm not charging any money. I'm not trying to, get your personal information or nothing like that. I'm trying to give you something, incentivize you to keep listening or to tell people to, listen and check out the Narrator Podcast. So my email's up. That email, if it's not working, I do have a comment section in my links. So, type me a little message in the comment section. If, you went to that link and it didn't work, and I'll think of something else for an email address that I'll announce later, but it should be working. I just went through a renewal process for the domain that email address is associated to. So I don't know. I haven't been checking it lately. I haven't checked in like a couple weeks since the renewal process, but if it's not working, just, in the comment section when you see the link for my podcast, type of if it is or if it is not, and I get that fixed. All right. So there you have it. I just gave you the promotional section, the contest section, and now diving right on into the super meats of my podcast section, the highlight section. In the highlight section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people. And the purpose of me doing this is to provide a positive frame of reference about entrepreneurialism. Also to put out the example of, you can do for self, because like I said, we get bombarded with all this negativity. They're trying to control us, with the media, trying to just make us feel like we can't, function. Like you can never ever be nothing more than just like a 9-to-5 wage slave. So the examples that I give on in this section is just like people that was working a 9-to-5 job and they became passionate about something and they wanted to, eventually pursue starting their own businesses. And so what I try to do within this section is to give you the whole process of their growth, of their journey, like how the ideas culminated, where they got their inspiration, in all stages of their business. That's what I try to give you as a listener, to provide that positive frame of reference. Sometimes I can be very thorough with it. Sometimes I cannot. If the information does not exist, I can't give it to you. Because sometimes, I can't dig up an interview about the company. So also in this section, what I'm looking for is, business owners that, do some type of community outreach. They either have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into one. They provide some type of good services for the community, help the less fortunate, elderly, children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Have a training program, doing something positive for the community, impacting the community in a positive way. And then lastly, they align up with my theme. And my theme last week was, Valentine's Day. I'm trying to give you, Valentine's, suggestions for Valentine's Day, even though I do not condone the notion of Valentine's Day. I know many of us celebrated it. And if you're going to celebrate it, at least, patronize your own. That's, again, another thing I do in this section is try to, convince or showcase, tell you why it's important to patronize our own businesses and support our own businesses. Because essentially we are due reparations, but until we get them, we need to, actively participate in group economics and, support our own businesses every time we can, when we can. That's the only way we're going to grow and thrive as a people. So we have something for future generations and, and continuing to, finance our community's needs rather than, waiting on them to disperse what they owe us. Because they do owe us. It's not a handout. Okay, so jumping right on into it. Now, like I said, it got a theme, and this week's theme was, I think I was going for the Valentine's date continued, like, if you just somehow you didn't link with your special someone for Valentine's Day, an activity you guys can do as a couple. Because I know a whole lot of, people in relationships, they still salty because their Valentine's Day didn't go as planned or never happened at all. So I was thinking, to combine a couple ideas like Valentine's Day date, slash, New Year's, or slash, because it's, gearing up for spring weather. So I was kind of trying to combine the two because now we're kind of officially out of winter. Like February, we're at the midway point from, from how we celebrate it in the Western Hemisphere. The seasons, like the new year really authentically starts in the spring because it's the new year, new things, new growth, new plant life, all that. But powers that be and that little Gregorian calendar and all that. But anyway, I'm veering off putting. So the notion, my reasoning behind my theme for today was to like do an indoor, a stay-in-home date and eat healthy as well. So something you guys can do as a couple. Enjoy each other's company and enjoy a meal together inside. So today's businesses that I'll be highlighting is fine dining meal prep businesses. So they done did all the work for you. Or like I was actually trying to find one of them meal prep joints where they send all the ingredients and the recipe and then you put it together like a Blue Apron type thing, but I couldn't. But I got what I got, and so please utilize the information and patronize these businesses. So first up in the highlight section is a company by the name First Batch. The proprietor and owner's name is Demetria Reynolds. The address is shopfirstbatch.com. It was established in 2017. She started the business because there were no vegan dessert options, or she wasn't satisfied with the vegan dessert options that were available. And the name came about because she started experimenting with different recipes, and she got it right on the first batch. That's how she came up with the name. She got it right the first time when she started experimenting with the flavors and the seasonings. Now, she specializes in desserts and ice cream, but she does meal prep. She does the whole gamut. The thing is, it's all vegan. She does all vegan, so it's all vegan. Like ice cream and the desserts is vegan, and as well as the savory food items are vegan as well. And I just felt the need to tell you that. But yeah, I decided to highlight her business because she does, fulfill most of, the qualifying factors that I just rifled off to you. She does do some type of community outreach, helps the community. She's original woman-owned business, so she hires other women, hires and trains them, gives them, franchise opportunities to start their own business under her umbrella. Yeah, I think she also does like motivational speeches and stuff too. I think she like writes books and what have you. And there's all kinds of online references to like all the services she provides. She got a LinkedIn page. Pretty much everything she does and everything First Batch is offering. So you're going to want to go check that out. But yeah, give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Mr. Demetria Reno in First Batch. Now, this next business I'll be covering, this sister is a classically trained chef and she's second generation. She was inspired by her father, whom was also a chef. He got, so they're both CEC, executive certified chefs. She's always been fascinated with cooking. And this company's name is Chantel's Catering, and the proprietor's name is Chef Chantel Quayle. The email address is www.chantelscatering.com. And I already told you, how she was inspired. You can go to the website, read the About section. I really scoured the internet for more of it, but sometimes when I'm doing these things, it's just a certain energy that attracts me to the people that I'm highlighting. And when I clicked on her, profile, when I was searching for information, it's just something that gravitated me towards her. So she's passionate about the industry. She's trying to bring about change with food. Trying to service all dietetic needs, accommodate all dietetic diets. So like she's offering, vegan, non-vegan, lacto-vegan, pescatarian, meat, like keto, like she's offering like everything. So, and she loves what she's doing because, like I said, she was inspired by her father. So she grew up, watching the knife skills and all the prepping and planning. Really ignited her and sent her on her path. She does have, classically trained chef. She has, she got a chef background. She went to an institution, got a degree in culinary arts, and also restaurant management. So, she's stamp certified. Her product is good. I'm sure her product is good. I've never had it, but, like I said, just something gravitated me towards her. So, like, I think she's probably efficient. So get out and support Chantel's Catering and the proprietor's name. What was her name? Or Chantel, obviously. Oh, it didn't say her last name. Oh, Quayle, Chantel Quayle, and Chantel's Catering. I'm sorry, earlier I already told you where my mind was at, but I'm trying to get through it. So, I probably had to go see my queen tomorrow. I don't think or the following day on Tuesday or Wednesday or something. I don't think the grave site's going to be open after I finish. But anyway, getting on through it. On to the next business. And this one is called Global Village. This is a husband and wife endeavor established by Demetrius Hall and his wife Mel Hall. He didn't say, what was her maiden name before she married Demetrius, but, she's in it with him. Their story is kind of an interesting one. Now, this was inspired due to their child's food allergies. So this is another like all vegan, but it's African inspired. So all the spices and seasonings are traditional African flavors. Uh, they actually met in Kenya when they first started dating. Um, and when on the website it says she was from like Tennessee, she's Memphis. So at one point in time, they was living down south, or they continued courting each other like down south. But anyway, through that, they found each other and created a family. Their daughter was allergic to the food, many foods. So, that's the plant-based diet is the perfect diet for, allergies. People that suffer from allergens can't have dairy, can't have this, can't have that, you know. So, they created a business, Global Village. What inspired me was their company's tagline was, to raise a village. Has that village mentality. That's their business module. Let me hit it up just so I'm correctly direct quoting it. Hmm. Okay. I'm finna go to the about. Okay, Demetria, Kenya. Da da da. Okay, so it says they met in Kenya and settled in Vermont, but Mel is from Memphis. I'm trying to find their business module, their slogan. It says something about a village. That's what they're coming with. I couldn't find the source, but it was really something really nice, something really deep, really inspirational. That's why I decided to highlight that business. But definitely go check out them Global Village Foods at globalvillagefoods.com, and clap it up for Demetrius Hall and his wife Mel at globalvillagefoods.com. All right, and now on to the next section. The next section is called the spotlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm spotlighting prominent figures within our community, and the prominent figures that I usually spotlight in our community are people whom are entertainers, so such as actors, actresses, um, athletes, recording artists, comedians. I've spotlighted some religious figures as well, writers, producers, public figures, basically anybody with a public medium that represents our people well, speaks on the cause unapologetically, or does some type of philanthropy, some type of outreach, reaching out to the community, or just the way they carry and conduct themselves as being a good visual representation of us, using their public platform to be a good visual representation of us. So today's spotlight, I forgot, I do my little rubbing. One thing I do got to say about the spotlight section, my spotlight section, I started the way for spotlighting. Because before I added the spotlight section to my podcast, nobody on the internet, YouTube, wherever you was getting your sources from, was spotlighting anything. But I added a spotlight section to my podcast, and now everybody spotlights something. Today's spotlight is on this. This week we'll be spotlighting so and so. Spotlight on such and such. But I created the way for spotlighting, and my intent behind it was to create the healthy habit. Yes, you can create healthy habits. Have you ever heard of a guy named Bob Proctor? Really, check his books out and his literature out, but create the healthy habit of saying something nice about your brother or your sister, and to not be messy online, and to not always, just slander each other and drag each other through the mud, and, air out the dirty laundry and trade insults online. That's what I wanted to create the healthy habit of. And I see when people are adding spotlight sections to their, projects or whatever platform they got online, that makes me happy, because it lets me know that I'm impacting this movement. I'm striking a blow. People are listening, because if nobody wasn't, we wouldn't have all these spotlights now. So I started the spotlight section, just letting it be known. Yeah. Who did that? Me, Halsey Allen, on the Narrative Podcast.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. All right. So today's spotlight section is, a one, very vivacious, very vibrant, beautiful lady who has stood the test of times, not only with her looks, but, with her warm personality and, just spirits and journey. And now she's sage. She has sage wisdom, because she's withstood the test of time, and she's opened the door for so many other people in her profession that was really hard to have inclusion, to look at that profession and to see people like us, become a staple within it. So I'm talking about none other than the elegant, beautiful, illustrious Miss Iman. And Iman is, I'm talking about the supermodel Iman. She's in her 60s now. So, born Zara Muhammad. Oh gosh, I hope I'm getting her last name right. Abdullah Majid. So she was originally born Zara. Her father changed it to Iman, which meant faith in Arabic. And the reason why he did that, because he said she would be more prosperous with a man's name. And darn it, if he wasn't right. So basically, she moved to the States in her late teens. She got her first modeling gig at like 19 in the 60s. When she moved to the States, there's not a whole lot of information on it. Her transition into modeling, what kind of training she had to endure, but she had naturally beautiful looks. She was just naturally beautiful. And she's withstood the test of time. She set the precedent and the trend for a lot of things that's common in the, modeling industry. She even had her own walk. She even had her own trademark walk that a whole lot of other models copied. Tyra Banks has modeled herself after, Iman. Naomi Campbell as well. Like I said, she opened the door and set the precedent for modeling as far as, our sisters was concerned, made America see, that we are beautiful as a people, because they set, like a lot of standards of beauty standards, and, her beauty forced the spotlight on us. So like when you take us, you got to take our issues to, I think before her, it was probably like Lola Falana and Eartha Kitt. But she definitely is a pioneer in the modeling industry, And not only that, she has an interesting, background as a refugee. She left, her homeland of Ethiopia, came to the States. She advocates, for refugees all over. She advocates for women. She advocates for our sisters in the modeling industry, and creates and has created so much opportunities for, our sisters to come in that industry and be prosperous in it. And she said a whole lot of industry first, like there was a whole lot of things, a whole lot of nuances within the modeling industry that, models were not doing before Iman came onto the scene. So, like I said, and she's also an actress. She's been on time span from the 60s on up into now, television shows, movies, advertisements, everything that comes with modeling. She, got a role in that, her hands in it. She also does a lot of philanthropy and activism. Definitely advocates for women, definitely advocates for our people, and always, speaking on our issues on her platforms, whenever she's interviewed and she's unapologetic about it. And, like I said, she's withstood the test of time as far as modeling, has set many precedents, and just has, an unwavering love for the industry, and, still to this day helping young sisters maneuver and, get their feet wet in the industry. And she knows, what it's all about, what it entails. And like I said, she paved the way for people like Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks. So I'm going to give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for Mrs. Iman. Now on to my next section. This section is called the Health and Wellness section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm just, talking about total body wellness for our people. Um, anybody, anybody of any type of ethnic background is free to, listen to my content and try to apply my content in their everyday lives. But all my content, make no mistake, I appreciate your support, but make no mistake, all my content is focused at my people, um, especially in this section, because, the worst thing in religion, they teach us, we're all God's creatures, we're all the same. Yes, we are, but to a certain extent, we are not the same internally. We don't have the same genetic makeup. There are things that are good for you that are not good for me, such as like sunlight. Why, for my people, sunlight, strengthens us, helps, you know, radiate our skin, our complexion. Our complexion clears in the sun. Our hair grows in the sun, like helps our hair grow longer in the sun. We feel more vital, vivacious, like more energetic in the sunlight as opposed to other people who peel and flake in the sunlight, develop cancerous lesions when exposed to too much sunlight. So we are not the same. Certain people can thrive on a high starch diet and eat like rice morning, noon, and night and live all the way up into like the late 90s and 100. Where other people, starch is the enemy, you know? So anyway, but I just kind of veered. I took a little side tangent. I didn't mean to do that. On to my health and wellness tip of the day. My health and wellness tip basically is just designed to, promote total body wellness. And the reason I feel I need to promote total body wellness within my people is because my people are under the most duress and attack. Because as I started out my, podcast, my information, we are attacked by the powers that be. They weaponize the media against us and are constantly bombarding our psyches with negativity about our people and our culture. And what that does is it breaks down our cellular, composition and our genetic makeup. It weakens our immune systems to get constantly bombarded with all this negativity. So while you can, in theory, choose what you say and choose to be whatever you want in life, and as the old cliche saying goes, you can choose your own happiness. You can choose your own happiness and choose your own reality, but you can't escape, what's being embedded into you and ingrained into you on a daily basis. It'll catch up to you at some point in time, and when it does, it will reside in your subconscious and manifest itself into a physical ailment or illness or dis-ease. Everything starts in the mind. Everything starts in the mind. And illnesses occur in the body when the mind is at dis-ease. So this is what the health and wellness section is about, how to compensate for that and basically just help my people stay armored up, health-wise, physical health. So if I'm doing something you can eat to sustain your health or use topically to sustain your health, it'll probably be like the health benefits of the vegetable, fruit, plant, herb, extract, elixir, etc. A physical exercise you can perform to sustain your total body health, your fitness, your vitality, your breathing rate, etc. Um, Mental things you can do to keep your mind, focused and clear and clarity, such as like mindful breathing, meditation, um, reading, just things to, relax and calm your mind. Spiritual things you can do for your soul, like such as praying, meditating. And then also I talk about, metaphysical stuff in this section. And then sometimes just PSAs about health, things to stay away from if you know you are an original man and original woman, things that directly impact our health to stay away from or to watch out for. So today in the health and wellness section, I will be speaking about anxiety and giving you some strategy tips on how to deal with it. So my first strategy tip on how to deal with anxiety is to, first recognize the symptoms, and you have to be cognitive and aware of your anxiety, what triggers it. You have to be emotionally educated. You have to educate yourself about your own emotions. You have to know how you feel about something. This is mindful breathing. Mindfulness, actually, is to be, emotionally aware of your emotions, what triggers certain emotions. Also, your anxiety. We're all individuals. What makes you anxious as an individual? Do you get anxious in like crowded surroundings, like too many people too close to you? Or you feel like, people's all up in your face and it triggers your little fight or flight. You just need to do the knowledge about that. You need to identify the anxiety. So you need to know, what is anxiety, what triggers it. Of course, diet, of course, sleep. But when you're having an anxiety attack, here's some things you can do to kind of snap yourself out of it. Is controlled breathing. Just calm down, breathe in, breathe out. Practice your breathing. Practice your breathing like even during non-anxious moments. They got some, I know we all by now have seen Boys in the Hood. So remember Lawrence Fishburne's character in Boys in the Hood, the father. He was at his desk. He was an insurance man. I guess he had got some bad news about Trey, the son. And he was, he had these little silver ball bearings. And he was just kind of like, rotating the silver ball bearings. Those are called bouting balls. And in Asian culture, what they do is, or what they do in Western culture too, because, it's a proven fact now. There's more, documentation, scientific documentation that they work to help, circulate the blood, regulate the flow of blood. They got some stuff called chi energy, that helps manipulate that. And that helps you control your breathing. It helps with your anxiety levels, regulate your anxiety levels. So using some bouting balls, that'll help you. Another thing you can do to maintain, keep ahead of the curve of anxiety is aromatherapy. They got they got sprays. They got aromatherapy machines where you can use like essential oils, load your essential oils into the aromatherapy machine and essentially just like be in a mellow state. You can have the essential oil of lavender. That's very common, chamomile, just all kinds of stuff. Warm baths, warm showers, warm water. It helps you calm down and relax, to de-stress. Um, and when you're having another technique you can use when you feel like you're having an anxiety attack, snap yourself out of it. Count out of sequence. Count to yourself out of sequence. Get into a space, close your eyes if you feel you need to, and just like count 1, 3, 7, 9, 12. And what that does is forces your brain to focus on something else than whatever it is that's making you anxious. So those are just some tips to stay ahead of the curve in anxiety. Learn to recognize the symptoms of anxiety. I'm sharing that today because, as an original man, our people stay under constant, traumatic stress, very anxious times we're living in, and so many things trigger our anxiety. So, we have to constantly be on guard against it to keep it in check, identify it, and, not succumb to the anxiety. So there it goes. That's my health and wellness tip of the day. And now on to my speaking points. This is speaking point section, and in this section, what I'm doing is I'm really talking about current events, things that's happened in the media, either directly within our community or global news, something that impacts us as a whole globally. And the purpose of me doing these is basically to control the narrative, because the media has us looking and sounding all types of crazy, and so basically, I unpack it from our perspectives. On the rare occasions where I don't have a current, news article or current news, breaking news to discuss, I'll kind of like unpack a PSA and just, give you an observation of something we need to work on as a people. And by we, I mean me as well, because I am an original man. So, if we got to work on it, that means me too. So, I'm not out of it. I'm not exempt from the whatever behavior I feel we need to work on, because I'm probably like the ringleader. Like I'm probably like the biggest at fault of whatever I'm talking about. So never ever listen to my content and think I'm trying to come across as holier than thou. So basically that's what I talk about in this section is current events and just telling our story the right ways, because history has taught us, if we've not learned anything from his history, like if you don't tell your own story, your story will be told for you. All right, so my speaking point of the day today is actually just something I didn't get to cover on my Thursday live when I went live on Thursday, because I had my bulleted points. But like I said, I try to be time conscientious, and I was already over the time limit that I had set for myself, and it just kind of seemed like a non-factor. I felt like the things that I spoke about, garnered more attention than that one particular thing. So I'm going to talk about that. It just didn't make my list, or I just didn't make it when I went live on Thursday. I just had a bulleted point, and I didn't realize until after I had already ended the broadcast that I didn't cover that particular thing. And it's something, and again, that's what I said. Actually, if you listen to the podcast, I said I don't condemn people. I don't drag people on my podcast, but I do deliver stern, honest commentary when I feel like somebody is doing something that is damaging to us as a people as a whole, I will speak on it. And so that's what I'm going to do, because this individual is kind of, they mean well, but the context in which they said it kind of is damaging us as a whole. Because the person that they're speaking about, has done a lot for our community. Regardless what you think of them, they got the receipts to prove that every time something goes wrong in our community, they're right there, with a check for the family, especially, with police shooting deaths. They provide opportunity for us, have created institutions for us, and not just for a tax write-off, because they actually care. So, the person that I'm talking about is an evangelist. She has recently went to social media, or what's been trending on social media. She was delivering this sermon, and I don't think I got the direct quote. I'm gonna try to pull it up and just play it for you. But you might already know where I'm going with it just by hearing me talk. She had said something about Beyonce. It said something about Beyonce knows, and she was questioning, anyone's status as a devout Christian, questioning them. She went one step further and in her lecture and said, "How dare you call yourself a Christian if you go to a Beyonce concert, when like Beyonce concerts is like the breeding ground for demonic activity." And I felt the need to address it because I've already covered and expressed my views on religion on my platform, and I think religion is what's separating us, and crippling us as a community in some instances, because Black church has kind of turned into the proving ground for like toxicity and dysfunction. Like, once the Black church was the cornerstone of our community. Like, Black church was, Craigslist before it was a Craigslist. Like, if you wanted something, you went to church. Like, if you wanted a spare tire, church. You wanted a job, you go to the Black church. You wanted to sell something, you go to the Black church. You wanted to find something, you go to the Black church. The Black church supplied all, the community's needs. And now, over time, it's not that anymore. It's not that politicians go to Black churches basically to make a mockery out of our community, insult our intelligence, talking to the Black pastors and leaders within the church. And, and then just a whole host of not right things go on in Black church these days. But I'm not talking about Black church. I'm talking about this, reckless, quite frankly, irresponsible statement. Now, she's supposed to be an evangelist, and she pointed out, some interesting stuff, and, to her point, she has a point about, some not right stuff happens in secular music. I mean, Kanye, Ye, as he likes to be called now, Kanye West, he said something about the 808 frequency, and, them taking God out of the music is why, so much stuff in the world is happening today. And, to her credit, some of the things that she said was kind of right, but most of it wasn't. It's not fair and it's not right for you to, use your platform to tear down a sister that has been contributing to our culture. Now, in some areas, is she correct? Yes, some areas she's correct. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like when Beyonce came to us in the world of entertainment, she was just like about 16 years old, 14 or 15 or 16, something like that. Always been aesthetically beautiful. And in her beauty, her trademark was her bodily dimensions. And, some of the outfits that she wears are scantily clad. And I do, I lock in with this evangelist in that respect. Because she is now a wife and mother of 3. I think her oldest, Ivy, she's like 11, 12 now. So to be like gyrating around on stage like that at her age, because she's about like 30. How old is Beyonce? And again, I'm not caping for Beyonce. I'm not, truth be told, even a fan all like that of, her music. Not because I don't believe she can sing. She can sing. She's a great entertainer, a dancer for sure. She got dance moves. Beautiful for sure. Naturally beautiful. But, it's a bit much now because, like, she's a wife and mother of 3. Some people kind of speculate, her union with Jay-Z. Is it real or is it like, just industry? Is it a relationship of convenience or is it the real deal? I don't speculate. I don't care. I could care less. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't get paid off for worrying about it. But other people, they kind of in their circles, they speculate whether it's real or not. But it's neither the here nor the there. We're talking about, her stage presence, being underdressed while she's performing, and she's now like, I got sidetracked. How old is she? Let's see. "42." So she's 42 years old now. She's in her 40s. Now, she'd been the bad B word for over, 15 years. So she proved her point, about her looks. Now she is a wife and mother of 3. She needs to, in her performances, need to start, being reflective of that. I'm not saying like be, an old prude and just, wear turtlenecks and them old 1800 dresses. But during her performance, she needs to be mindful that she has young ladies, watching her and emulating her. So they're going to try to dress like her and show things that's not supposed to be seen. So that's where I agree with the evangelist in that part. But to say essentially that she's a demon, she's projecting demonic energy at her concerts, you know, you're getting inducted into Satan, to the cloth of Satan, from just her music. That's, that's a bit much. That's a bit much, and I hate when religious people sit up here and use the Bible and quote scripture to, fit their narrative, not what the word actually says and what it actually means, just what they interpret as what it means, and, try to flip the narrative on that. So it's like, not that I think the lady was totally off base. I just think that was an irresponsible statement when it's people like, Ozzy Osbourne, who is the Lord of Darkness, bat wings and pentagrams and all that. But you're going to say Beyonce's the devil? Her music is demonic? And you're not a Christian if you go to her concert? Like, lady, do you know how much her concerts cost? If you go to a Beyonce concert, this living proof that there is a God, that you got the financial means to even be admitted. Like, you getting hit with 1,900, 2,200, like 2 to 5 racks for a nosebleed section at a Beyonce concert. Front row is somebody's mortgage payment at a Beyonce concert. Stop it. Like, okay, what is this lady's name? Let me try to pull her up, so I don't want to keep on taking words out of her mouth. I'm going to just let you hear it. I don't own the rights. I'm already putting out that I don't own the rights. Yeah, so it was like, her statement was, how dare you call yourself a Christian for buying Beyonce tickets? I'm going to try to pull it up.
She said, of you who are going to Beyonce's concert, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. How dare you call yourself a Christian? She says, how can you call yourself a Christian?
All right, this is somebody else's commentary, but I just wanted to set up the full context of the content. So she was pointing out all these misnomers and idiosyncrasies and all these things about just concerts in general, but she placed it squarely on Beyonce with that statement and flipped it, and then questioned people's, religious standing, like saying, you're not worthy of being a Christian if you go to a Beyonce concert. And excuse me, it's just secular music. And I know all church people listen to secular music. I don't think not one person, black, white, Asian, whoever, who is a devout Christian is sitting up there making love to Christian songs. Like, if you got children, how do you think the children got here? I doubt they was listening to Sunday school music or church music as they're procreating, making a child. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt they were sitting up there listening to church music while they doing the do. And then, speaking of church music, like Yolanda, like, wow. There's church people. I ain't even gonna like name drop because I said I don't drag people on my platform. But there's like gospel singers. They got like 11 and 12 kids out of wedlock. That have been in like altercations, stabbing people and shooting people, and been singing gospel music, and then been in church their entire lives. But they ain't demonic. They don't got some darkness to them. But Beyonce's demonic for just singing secular music and all these other genres of like rock and roll concerts, and actually does, within the set they'll do have like the devil with the horn and the pitchfork, but she's the devil. I'm sorry, sister, I can't get behind that. I can't agree with that. That's wrong. That makes all of us look bad. We should be unified. And like I said, I already aired what I personally have an issue with Beyonce with. I wish she would cover up more now. She's in her 40s. She's a mom of 3. And like our young ladies are looking up to her, whether she wants to be a role model or not. So in her shows, she probably does need to be, cover up more. But to sit up there and judge people like that and question somebody's faith, that's just wrong. That's wrong. I had somebody tell me I was bringing demons on myself, practicing Satanism for burning sage and meditating. What? When it literally says in the book to meditate? Huh? The wise man bought Jesus frankincense and myrrh. You know what has frankincense and myrrh in it? Sage bundles. Most sage bundles contain frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh, excuse me. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, religion is killing our people. Like, people is just sitting up there, going out of their way to make people feel bad and slighting people and trying to hide behind scripture to validate it and, prove their point that they're trying to make. They're trying to warp it and skew it, and twist it to make it just, be right, to align their point up that they're trying to make. So I don't know. We're dropping the ball on that, and we need to stop. And people like her definitely need to stop before you get on a public platform and make statements like that. And I know, like, within any faith that you study, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity, whether it's, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever, you got to, stand on it, not be lukewarm in it, which means, if you understand it, you understand it. If you're with it, you're with it. If you're not, you're not. And so I get all that. But at the same time, you can't go outside of what the word says to, promote your viewpoint. Like, the book literally says what you did, how you went and did it is wrong. It says it in the book is wrong. And I'm not going to quote scriptures and verses. I can, but I'm not. And so, like, overall, because we're in this battle for this equality, for this liberation movement, we can't be sitting around wasting time making inconsistent, irresponsible statements about one another online. That's the overall point of my podcast, is to, edify each other and build each other up and bring each other up. And if she felt, some type of way about Beyonce, she should have reached out to Beyonce or, petition her in a better way than that. And like woman to woman, sister to sister, let's talk about this. Let's tell her about X, Y, and Z. Don't get on your platform and call her the devil and she's demonic and she's projecting demonic energy. And like I said, I'm not the biggest Beyonce fan. I actually really think her younger sister's a little bit more talented, like, artisanal wise, like music and all that. But to each their own. But that was basically my point. And now moving on to my final word of the day for the Narrator podcast, and then I'm up out of here like last year. This is my final word or final thought of the day. And in this section, I'm going to leave you with some wise words of wisdom, something inspirational, motivational, something thought-provoking, something that inspires critical thinking, something deep. That's what, I'm going to leave you with. So my last word of the day is be a good winner. Be a gracious winner. Because some of us don't win graciously. We, have this insatiable need to just OD on winning. Like, you've already won. Why rub somebody's face or nose in it? Like, you don't have to spike the goalpost. Like, you won, it's over with. But for some people, winning's not good enough. Winning, they want to get it off. They want to just OD on the victory dance. Be a gracious winner. You don't got to broadcast your wins to the world. And, if you're really a winner, if you feel like you really won, then you already got the victory. Like, I know there's some instances where you need to, talk your talk and let them know when people get to doubting you or you feel slighted in such a way, you got to, kind of run down the resume. But at the same time, you ain't got to do all that. You don't have to be a poor winner. You don't have to mock other people. You don't have to put other people down when you win. You ain't got to call, another person's efforts trash because you, got your little W. So be a gracious winner. Carry yourself with poise, dignity, and class. And that's the true winner. Carry yourself with decorum. And so you won. People around you won. And just let that be the reason. You don't have to be all extra with your victory. So that'll do it. Thanks for listening to the Narrator podcast. Join me again next weekend for another full episode of the Narrator podcast. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator podcast to help grow my platform. And also purchase my book titled The Black Card. It's online in the Poetizer bookstore. Go to Poetizer, go to the bookstore and purchase your copy of my book, The Black Card. And then support my personal poetry blog, Halsey's Poetry Corner at www.mrhalseysblogs.com. The tagline is Poetry with a Passion, poetry for all occasions. And when you read them, you'll find out why. So, also, I broadcast live every single week, one time every single week during the weekday. So tune in to the Narrator Podcast regularly to avoid missing me when I go live. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Halsey Allen. And click the notification bell and you will never miss me when I'm live. And then also follow me on Twitter, because when I go live, it broadcasts onto Twitter as well. And I'm Halsey Allen on Twitter too. So you will never miss either one. You know, you can go to any of those and you will always catch a live broadcast of the Narrative Podcast, prompt and on time. So thanks for listening. That's all, y'all. I'm up out of here like last year. Tune in next week for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. Till next time, send me love, light, healing energy. Narrative Podcast, Halsey Allen, up out of here like last year. And it's like that.
Set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.